more fucking around. It's Wild Style Radio. Wild Style Radio. Radio.
Stand up and shout!
What's up? This is the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show. We're coming to you live from Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia, part of the Wild Style Network. What's up?
Hi, happy Wednesday to you, Kevin.
Happy Wednesday. And we got them on the screen, so let's just bring them right into the show.
But like, I'll make the
No
disclaimer.
more fucking around.
You know, we say that over. We always get that intro, and there's a lot of sound bites that bring in our different podcasts. I don't know why we're the ones that are fucking around. Like, evidently, like Kevin and I are the ones that are continuously fucking around. We get that every time.
That's how the opening was built. We
Remind
stole
you
it
to
from
stop fucking around.
Yeah, we stole it from the old show that no longer exists, and that's our intro.
Well, we have more podcast episodes than any of the other
true.
podcasts.
That's right.
We are very dedicated to our craft. You know,
Absolutely.
Here. So, like, I think that
We're
we're the
professionals.
least right. We're not fucking around.
Yeah.
We've always been like in it to win it.
And if you
I've got
can't
the
steal from
t-shirt.
yourself, who can steal?
I feel a t-shirt coming on. I'll wear it proudly.
.com.
Yeah, since you're working on some new swag,
Exactly. I am working on some new swag.
yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe
No more
something
fucking around.
something on the back.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of fucking around, I'm going to say this. If you're listening live, or you're listening to the recorded session, and you hear a little genuine My Pony kicking in the back because 50 Shades of Men is about to go on here at the Salisbury Center. So the music will not be exactly like that. That would what you'd be hearing, like in the background noise, occasionally if this happens to kick in while we're broadcasting. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Right. With
And then you're performing, right?
yeah, I thought that was you.
Oh, no.
I thought that was like
Nobody wants to see that.
What, you think someone
Get
wants
them
to see
pole
this?
skills going, bro. I can see it now.
All right, we may be officially fucking around.
Okay.
All right, let's get at it.
All right.
Oh, we'll do intros. We need no intros because I think this might be the fourth time that we've talked to you guys on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show. You guys meaning Spread Eagle. We have 3/4 of Spread Eagle joining us on this episode of the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show. So am I right in that? At least 4 times that you guys remember?
Well, there was a time we played at the Salisbury. There was M3.
Yeah.
And Salisbury, I think, was in 2 segments, possibly.
Yes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we did. So we talked with you, Rob, and Jommy the first time, leading up to the first performance here at the Salisbury Center.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Ray and Rick in the
came
studio with us.
Yep.
The second time you guys were here.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then M3.
M3. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
We
number
have to
4.
do like SNL and give out jackets.
Are they
cool.
continuing M3? I hope they are.
I'm
That was
glad that
so
you're bringing this
fun.
up because I wanted to. This was
Yep.
like I was thinking about you guys like this year and last year, like in some conversation. We always have like good casual conversation about rock and roll. So I love about talking to you guys. So, and then obviously we have we didn't do full introductions, we have Rob Deluca, we have Jommy Puledda, and then Ray West. Those are the 3/4 of Spread Eagle that are here joining us. And you guys had played the M3 Rock Festival in 2025. And we talked to you at the M3 Rock Festival, as we just brought up, in 2025. And we loved your set opening the M3 Rock Festival on Sunday of 2025. But now in 2026, that didn't happen. It was a very abbreviated approach to the M3 Rock Festival for 2026. And there we are.
Oh,
There's the 808.
here's Mike coming to the stage. That's the way they all talk. Yeah.
Exactly.
Why don't you just, as we speak, Jeff, why don't you just introduce us that way? Like every month.
I love it. But do you guys have feelings towards that? Because Kevin and I had pretty strong feelings. Because we have been, a part of M3, at least as fans, as participants here with the podcast for a number of years. We're excited for it every year. And we were not so excited about we felt it was a downturn that it took this year with have it being on a 1-day and a very abbreviated schedule. Were you guys in any type of knowing of that or had any thoughts towards M3 Rock Festival in 2026?
Not that I was told that, well, we'd heard about that was happening. I've met a lot of people, as you know, it was our first time there, so we were just catching up, for Spread Eagle playing. But it was interesting to meet so many people that were upset about it not being a 3-day event. anymore.
Right.
And I don't know what, obviously I'm not part of that business, so I don't know what brought that on. I wouldn't know the mechanics of that.
Okay.
Some things there could be it could be financial things, could be a lot of
Sure.
things I don't know.
Sure.
We're just lucky to be alumni now, but I'd like to get it popping so we do it again. That'd be great.
Right. I mean, I got to give you guys credit. What I felt, because I went to the Sunday sermon, which was the day following the single day of M3 in 2026. So that was the Sunday following the Saturday of the M3 Rock Festival. And I felt that the Sunday sermon that you all headlined was the spirit of M3. I think you guys saved it. And all of the acts that played that day were very strong acts. And there was carryover in the audience for sure, because I talked to a lot of people that were at that M3 Rock Festival, and they're appreciative of that show that you all did. And it was a very strong show at Fish Egg Cantina in Baltimore. It just happened to be piggybacking on to an area close to Merriweather, right? So so I was glad to see that. I also saw that it was really kind of staged by several different promoters in the area. So how did you come to the Sunday sermon that day following?
That's a question for Robbie, I think, because Robbie got the contact.
I think Brad Lee reached out to us.
That's right.
And knowing that it was M3 weekend, I reached out to Eric at M3 to make sure there wasn't any problems, where he might feel like it's an infringement on anything he's doing. And he wrote back that it was not any infringement or any problem and to go ahead. So, and the reason for that, obviously, as Ray said, we're alumni now. We're kind of, we were accepted into the M3 family, albeit late, but,
right.
we've been around a long time, but better late than never. We don't, usually with things like that, Monsters of Rock, Cruise M3, you usually don't get invited every year. There's a couple bands that do, but most times you don't get invited every single year. And it's common to leapfrog every other year, So as Ray implied, we're now in that, in that circle, and we want to stay in it. So I reached out to Eric, and he said, no, go and do it. It wasn't meant to be, it was on a different day than M3, so it obviously wasn't meant to be any kind of competition. But yeah, Brad Lee was the guy that put it together, and we were happy to be involved. And thank you that you liked it.
Yeah.
Jommy, that was a good show, right? Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the spirit of things, and everybody that was there definitely was there for the right reason, and it was a sense of family going on too, and everybody kind of knew each other for the most part. So it was really cool to be a part of that. We are, we've talked about many times, bro. We have just been grinding and grinding. So when we get a gig that has optics on it, for us, it's a big deal, whether it be at M3, Monsters of Rock, Cruise, whatever. So we love all that stuff, man. We need those kind of gigs. So if we can be a part of these kind of things, we're more than grateful for it.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest rub that people we talked to were so disappointed about the way M3 got structured for this year, was because a lot of people come in from out of town
right,
for the extended weekend and that rock and roll community. So yeah, I agree. I think obviously I missed your all set. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it that day, but what I heard is, it kind of saved the weekend, because people that weren't going to come at all when Sunday's sermon was announced, I think they adjusted their plans to be there.
Right.
That's cool.
It's amazing the amount of people that did see us at the open M3, whatever, and that's translated to a lot of cool things. It's those moments are good for us. I wish we had them all every week, but it's one step at a time. So,
and Rob, I was going to add, I hope to see you every year. I want you in the first weekend in May in Baltimore every year, selfishly as a fan. I'll say that.
Thank you.
We love those gigs. It's like we just love being a part of this thing and to get into the mix and become part of the conversation. I love that. Why isn't Spread here? I don't know. Let's make it happen.
Sure.
We are definitely trying to hit Baltimore area hard. Unfortunately, back in the 1990s, we neglected the Baltimore area for whatever reasons. and that's a shame. But now we're trying to make up for it. Jommy lives in Maryland, so he's local, and it's a great rock and roll market. And it's it's not that different from where we're from or the Philly market. They have some similarities. We're from New York City, and we want to be strong in all these markets to go up and down the Eastern Seaboard, effortlessly. And we are focused on Baltimore area, DC, Virginia, really hard to try to get a strong footing there. And it's a process.
Sure.
I mean, it's obviously, we're getting some good shows, but you got to keep pushing, and we are.
Sure.
So speaking of, we're playing in Falston, Maryland, Spread Eagle and Silver Tongue at the Falston Ale House. I think it's called the Falston Ale House is the proper name, on August 1st.
Yes. Upcoming. So we are at July 15th. So a few weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent.
It means time's going to fly by very quickly. That's what happens.
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
But
as a part of that,
trying to be part of that mix. Trying to be part of that mix it's not easy. There's a lot of familiar bands that play over and over and over again.
Sure.
And it's hard to sort of get into that clique and just be part of that. So anytime we can get close, we take advantage of it.
Sure.
Also, we feel like some of these scenarios they're great. We love to be involved with them, but they're at times a little too much of the same thing. So I think it's important to get new bands that into any situation that still relate, that still thematically makes sense. So we're excited when we're included.
Sure.
And you guys just recently released your new album,
Brutal Divine.
The Brutal Divine.
And that's obviously these touring and these shows are supporting the Brutal Divine and the Sunday Sermon. To kind of get back to that, you played a few songs. They were new to my ears then at that time, but since then the album has been released. So how's that been going for you? The support for the album?
I think people are digging the new stuff. They want to hear more of it live. We don't only do so much. We Street Noise is one of those tunes that translates really well live. When we started playing Ant Farm too, we added that to the set. We were doing Vultures, but we still it's about placement in the set, like where to put the new ones still have a little bit of the old stuff in there too. It's nice to have more songs to choose from. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Then we got to translate them. We don't get to really rehearse that much, so a lot of our rehearsals are sound checks. But the guys are gifted enough to play anything, so I'm looking forward to translating more of the album to live.
John, what are you thinking on the new songs in the live set? What are your feelings?
Yeah, we are playing the 3 new songs, Street Noise, Ant Farm, and Vultures. And in base of the situation, it's good to have we can choose the best songs for each situation. So, and probably in the future we will add some other new song from the new album. So,
which ones are you thinking?
Probably. Oh, we actually play also the UFO cover. That's
all right.
Push It to the Limit. That we are playing that song already a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Technically, we have 4 songs from the new album.
Because I know we had dropped it in the set last year over in the UK. I think we did that. So,
yeah, we did.
But it's Jommy has a lot of work because he's got to be the one that translate the guitars from studio to live. So he's got his work cut out for him too. We all do. It's a lot of it's what we love to do. So.
But that's a good point. Jommy probably has the most work in the translation from studio from studio to live. But Jommy, you were saying what songs do you think we should play off the new album?
Maybe Gunflower. I think it's one of the most powerful songs in the album.
It's a good idea. That's fun. That'd be fun to play. We're very fan reliant too. We like to have folks kind of tell us what they want to hear.
Well, I think my favorite song off the new record is Forbidden Local Honey.
I like that song too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
today's single.
So yeah, if we get a vote, maybe
I know.
throw that one
There
in
you go.
coming up down
You-
the
Throw
road.
it
By
into
the way,
hat.
Kevin and I don't like to talk about. That's kind of funny because we like to see where we land in terms of our tastes, and sometimes we strongly agree, sometimes we strongly disagree, and we have not talked about like the songs off of this about our preferences. And so I'm 1,000. That was where I was going to go. Kevin was Forbidden Local Honey. Like that's kind of bizarre.
Sometimes we're on the same page.
Sometimes we're on the same page, but yeah.
So you guys should know that that's the new single, and that's the single that the label picked for the street date. Street date
Okay.
being the day that the album is actually available. So that single on street date is usually a focus single, you know, and they chose that one also.
Oh, awesome.
All right.
So I think the record captures the live feel of Spread Eagle across all the songs. And obviously this was the first album that Jommy played on. So what was that experience like for you, Jommy? Now it's actually your guitar work and as was stated, translating that to live shows.
Yeah, it was a great experience to record for me the first Spread Eagle album and going to New York in the studio. And after all the work we have done here in my place with Rob for the guitar arrangements. So
In the room you're sitting in.
right, that's my music room where
Excellent.
me and Rob were working for the demos. And so we worked a lot before the recordings, so that once we hit in the studio, we were very ready and we knew already what we were gonna do. So, and we recorded with a vintage console in the studio. It's an Eve, right, Rob? And we used a vintage Marshall and vintage guitars, Gibson. So we were trying to bring back the 80s, early 90s sound for the classic Spread Eagle sound. So that was our goal for this record, to be aggressive and powerful guitars.
Excellent.
And the guitar tone, if I may add, Jommy's guitar tone is just absolutely crushing on this album. And we didn't, if we didn't use old gear just for the sake of using old gear. If it didn't sound better, we would have used whatever sounds best. But the old gear did sound better. I mean, Jommy used new guitars for his solos because that's all hotshot stuff where you needed, a very
In base of the parts, we choose different guitars also to have different sound for better help us on the mixing and the sounds, because every guitar part needs to be little different in the sound. So for solos, my EVH guitars, and so we try.
And the process seemed pretty quick too.
What's that, right?
No, I just said I think the process seemed very smooth and quick too for you guys.
Well,
For all of us, really.
Jommy said we worked really hard in that room he's in. So when we hit the studio, time is money. We knew what we wanted to do. And I think, Jommy, this next album, whenever we get to it, we should use even more different sounds, more guitars, more amps. So we mentioned that a little bit, but we didn't get into it much. But
Didn't ask him. Jommy, what was the easiest song for you to track?
The easiest one?
Yeah, what was done quickest for you?
Let me think. Probably the rhythmically, probably because it's very easy and short.
Which one?
I was curious.
Strict Noise, probably, as a rhythm guitars. That
The
was
simplicity is beautiful. That song is is beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the secrets of the songs, because
Yeah.
it's very direct,
Yeah.
punk oriented. So
I'm going to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the lyrical content of really kind of some of the songs, not necessarily anyone in specific, but I kind of feel that there's thematically, you speak largely to city life and some content that comes from the city. And I think it also, we've talked about it before with you guys, your theme of, your East Coast street metal. So like, is that correct? You know, my assumption in that a lot of this lyrical content and, you know, you're really getting into the grit of the city and the dirt of the city and really just kind of like the emotional, you know, really kind of effect of that. Am I, you know, kind of speaking to that the right way?
Oh, I think you are, Rob, because I everything is filtered through the city. Yes, but things like local honey, you know, it's very it's everything because from Southern Florida to Borough of Kings, so we stretch it all over the place. You know, we've traveled a lot, we've learned a lot, so we've grown up a lot, so to speak. That sounds stupid. You know what I mean? We've been through a lot, so yeah. Supposedly we've grown up, but I think Robbie's become a great lyricist. You know, I write from the heart. You know what I mean? I keep a journal, and what you see is what you get. We try not to. I don't think there's too many hidden things in the lyrics. You know, it's for people to grab onto and interpret for themselves, and that's important because that makes you have to really listen to the record and get into it lyrically that way and try to figure things out for yourself, you know. But yeah, it's really a viewpoint that's out of the city.
Is it a collab?
Especially like Street Noise, which is all about the city. But all the songs in general, yeah, even if we're talking about bigger issues, it is passed through the New York City experience perspective.
Which is just, you know, it could be anything. It could be Chi-Town, it could be LA, you know, this the city perspective.
And it sounds like it's a collaborative process when you guys are writing lyrics for your songs.
Yeah, I mean, Ray wrote all the lyrics pretty much to Street Noise, though. I wasn't really involved in that much.
Well, nothing is if I may, nothing is going to leave the studio that we don't think is cool lyrically, you know, because we learned a lot from back in the day. We had to rush, you know, the first Red Eagle album, we had to rush things and write in the studio, and it was like, man, we had to just come up with some things that we didn't get to go back and look at later. You know, some lyrics don't mature well. You know, and I think these lyrics that have been put together on this album was very much like it just had to be cool. You know, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't sing it. You know, it's got to work. I have to take ownership of things. You know, and Robbie does the same. You know, so lyrically, it's we've invested a lot of our time and lives into this, the way we speak on the album.
Yeah, lyrics
Hope that
are
makes
very
sense.
important. Lyrics are very important. They can define, you know, what a band is about. You know, very simply. You can have the same piece of music and you got a guy singing about, you know, some hot chick, and then you change the whole lyrical content and it's about, you know, something completely different. And it's important to know, what you want to talk about. And that's something Ray was saying, you know, when we were young, you know, one thing for the first album, which we love, but we were on a strict time schedule on that album. And maybe when you're young, you don't realize like these lyrics will be looked at for a long time. And, you know, and if that's the case, maybe you think about them a little more.
All right. I mean, hot sex is a great piece of history. It's like, what's that song about? Well, we were young, we were having a lot of sex, so we just wrote about it, okay? Voila.
So I'm going to ask you about a song, and Rob, I appreciate this. In your social media, I see in your social media that sometimes you just give a snippet about a song, and you've done this with Flat Earth Vultures and Ant Farm. Like they pop out as like two I saw you just kind of speak to and just give a little bit of description. But a song that I'm a little intrigued off of this album is how you close the album with Make Believer. So can you tell, like, if you could kind of put it in the context of maybe how you described, you know, your other songs with Flat Earth Vultures and Ant Farm. I find that song is a little bit of a curiosity just because it feels a little bit different than the rest of the theme of the album in a good way, not in a bad way. I love how you close the album with that song, and I find that is like a strong way to close. And so maybe that's a part of it too. Why did you close the song with that or the album with that specific song?
Well, I definitely did a lot of different revisions on sequencing, and we like to close albums in general with ballads, that's the template for me, is that Aerosmith laid out in the
Sure.
70s with Toys in the Attic and Rocks. Both those albums close with a beautiful ballad. And I always thought that was perfect. But on this album, we didn't want to write a ballad. We wanted to be heavier. Also, this album is the album most informed and influenced by live touring. And I can get to that in a second, but it's obvious, what I mean. So the closest thing was to a somewhat of that vibe for me, ballady, even though it's not a ballad, was that song. And also thematically, lyrically, it's a rough album. It's a heavy bruiser of an album with bruiser topics. And I thought that is more of a hopeful kind of lyric that can bookend the album by saying, things are going to get better. And getting back to what I said about being informed by or influenced by live shows, the first album, we didn't do any shows. We had booked gigs, we got signed, we canceled the gigs, went right in the studio. Then we toured a decent amount, but we didn't do that many shows before the second album. People think we did a lot more shows than we did. And that album took years where we weren't really on the road. The third album, we were doing some shows, but Zeev, our guitar player at the time, had a kid and has since had another kid, so he couldn't really tour much. This album, we've been touring nonstop before we recorded this one. Yeah. It's a big difference in just our feeling of going into the studio, where we always aspired to be a live band, and at times we got close to it. Definitely after our first album came out, we did a chunk of touring, but that was in 1990. Our second album didn't come out till like 93 or something.
Sure. Right.
This album, we're all about being a live band. It's not, just so much about wanting to be it. We are it. We've become that. So it really fueled the energy of this album, and we wanted this album to be a bruiser, and it is.
So you mentioned. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But Make Believer's a cool tune. Thank you.
Love it. Yeah, fantastic song.
So you mentioned messing with the sequencing with some of the songs. I know there was a promo post that mentioned the Street Noise was going to lead off the record, and then it turned out being Flat Earth Vultures. Talk a little bit about, is this between you and the rest of the band? Is the record company, do they have say-so in sequencing, or is it really your all's creative insight and direction?
Well, the record company luckily did just let us do our thing. Okay, so you're talking about two different things, just to be clear. Leading off the record as from the sequencing of the sequencing, or in the sequencing, whatever, and the singles are two different things.
Sure.
So Street Noise was the first single. It did lead off the album as far as, hey, here's our new album. This is what we want you to hear. Here's our new.
So I misunderstood the post then.
Yeah. So the sequencing didn't change much. To be honest, the singles did change. We had some people who were dear friends of ours give opinions, and there were 4 songs chosen originally as singles, and 2 of them changed. So just because, for whatever reasons of we feeling maybe we should rethink how people hear the album, in what order. So 2 of the singles changed.
Sure. So I'm going to ask you guys about your touring, and you mentioned, I'm glad, Rob, because you guys have become absolute, just road dogs, out there just going at it and touring and touring and touring. And I just see, obviously I see you when I catch you here in the mid-Atlantic on the East Coast, but I see you going well beyond that. You toured with Warrior Soul through Europe this past winter. You're about to go into Europe again. Is there a reason that you focused in with such a heavy tour after you do your Baltimore show? Or I'm sorry, not Baltimore. Falmouth. Falmouth is a town in Virginia, so do not go to Falmouth. And you'll be in the middle of nowhere if you go there. So if you go to Falston, Maryland, not Falmouth, Virginia, there's a huge difference. I don't think you guys will see you guys there. But is there a reason you decided to go back to Europe and do a heavy tour there to support the Brutal Divine?
We only get to go over once a year. So the biggest way to make an impact, we think, is just to cram as much we can as that's in that small window. We think it's a small window, but it's quite a period of time. And I think every year we've gone over there, we've extended it a little more. Now we're there for like a full almost 5 weeks, I think. Right? Am I right about that, Robbie?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's important to just, we're an American band, but it's important to spread the wealth, man. There's such a great support and connection for this band. We found we go overseas that it's really humbling, and it's the way we have friends here and supporters here. We've got that same thing over there now. I beat myself up for years because we didn't go over there. Now we're trying to make up for it by going every year. So it's important to get over there because there are people that do support this band there. And it's really people always ask me, people really rock harder over there? It's a passion thing. They're passionate in the UK and Europe. When you meet people in the UK, you'll meet somebody who's 87, 90 years old that works in a donut shop that will give you a whole dissertation on Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a rock and roll heavy metal culture in the UK and Europe as well. So we want to be a part of that. So we get in there every year and we just get over there and make it happen. The people, the food, the people, it's crazy.
And we have a European guitar player, so that's...
And we have it,
Right,
that's right.
right.
So we're connected to Sardinia because of Jommy,
Right.
And finally, we will play in Italy also.
That's right.
Yeah,
Right.
excellent.
And not just the wedding, right?
That was technically not part of the tour, but we can say
Jommy's
first
reception, because that reception turned into like the best gig, one of the best gigs we've ever done. It was crazy. Everybody dressed in the nice moshing and dancing around. It was cool. We Robbie's been there. Obviously, he's with many other bands he's worked with. But for us to go there and this band to do that, to the four of us going over there as a team and surviving together, I'm amazed we always come back alive and the pieces that we can.
And this is our 5th time now, Spread Eagle's 5th time. So.
Oh my God! You know what's funny? I was looking at all my airline passes in the phone. I thought there's one or two that it popped up by the hundreds. It was crazy, crazy. Anyway,
so Jeff,
it's important to us.
So they don't have a lot of clubs don't have air conditioning over there
No.
because it's a little
Right.
It's a little cooler. Some of them do, but some of them don't. A lot of homes don't have it also.
Yeah.
So August is very hot, and also there's a lot of festivals in August. So it's very difficult to. There's a lot of bands there, and they're all filling up, all the slots in the clubs, and it's kind of difficult to book August there. So we go over in general every September, and that's when we do it. Kids come back from vacation to go to school, and they're back in the cities, and so we've been focused on September's over there.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like Ray said, we don't want to keep flying back and forth. It's too expensive. It costs, our costs to do a tour over there are really high. So we try to go over once and just make it as long as possible.
I mean, if we could afford to do it more, we would, obviously, but we just get a kick out of it, man. It's an advantage because some people jump out of airplanes and things like that. We do this thing,
Yeah.
We jump out of airplanes with guitars.
That's right. That's right.
So I had a question related. You've released 2 videos for some of the songs off the new record. Ant Farm, which I found was very visually entertaining. And then Flat Earth Vultures is a completely different kind of take from a video concept. And I know video has changed quite a bit from back in the earlier days when you guys formed, where there was MTV and they were actually showing music videos. who are you guys? I know you played a role in the Flat Earth Vultures video, but are you guys, how much of the concept and the generation of the videos is your all's responsibility?
I think between us and our video director Frankie, we take full responsibility because it's a huge collaboration. You know, you got to have somebody sort of interpret the tune and say, this is what I think. And when we're like, well, we kind of had this idea too. We just have to make it work. You know, I love doing these videos. They're just so much fun. I think videos are still important because people are very visual. You know, and YouTube is a big deal. If you do well on YouTube, you do well. You know, so we all have a kind of a keen sense of humor. You know, and we like to use that in for the videos. But you know, having Lily, Rob's wife, do Ant Farm was special because that was something that was kind of her vision. You know, so we gave it up to her, as I recall, right? So between that and sometimes you got to give it up to someone and just trust, right? Flat Earth Vulture, same thing. You got to give it to Frankie and just trust him, and his ideas are hilarious. And then we start playing off each other. We have a round table. We bounce back and forth, and we have what we have. You know, I think it's important to take part.
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah, I'd say for the most part, the directors, you know, it was their visions. I know, like for instance, Flat Earth Vultures, Jommy thought it shouldn't be too political, and I agreed with him on that, and that was good because then because of Jommy saying that, I feel it went a little bit more, leaned even more towards the comic element, which was always going to be there, but it pushed it a little bit more, and I think that was the right thing. You know, like that video needed to be funny, and Frankie Puledda, the director, did a fantastic job. So yeah, it's their visions for the most part. Of course, as Ray said, we're always involved. We can always veto something or add, like, you know, oh, well, that's cool. How about if we did this with that, you know? But videos are great, man. They're fun.
And if I may, you find yourself doing things you wouldn't think you would normally do. You've got Rob, you know, Rob, I think you volunteered for it. It's like a billionaire cowboy thing. Rob's like, I'll do that. You know, Frank, and we got to dress Ray up as a clown. I'm like, that's an easy, obvious choice, you know. So we have fun with it, man. It's fun when you can be a part of it and the creative process. It's awesome. It's fun.
Jommy, what were you? You looked like an Italian waiter meets like what the hell
like
were you?
An agent or something like that.
I felt like he should be
security agent.
Oh no, I don't mean that one. I mean when you were dressed in red. I felt like you should have been bringing me you know, like a corned hen or something. You know, like here's your chicken, sir.
It's fun, man. Look, and we're not a political band, you know, but we all have our politics. You know, everybody individually. You know, it's not something we like. Rock shouldn't be about that with this band. You know, we're not Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, that's a whole different thing, right? So just have fun with it. And the people that come to see us, it's just about focusing on the good time. It's not about all this shit goes outside. It stays outside the doors. Inside the room is where the vibe is. You know it because you've experienced it before.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, it just seems like unless you're a band that is really focused politically, it's way too polarizing these days. When you do make that political statement, and you know, we're seeing it with other bands and decisions that they're making. It's not working out well for them either way. So
yeah, if someone wants to discuss politics with us, we'll have a conversation. But live, you're not going to see it happen in the building. You know, as a band, we're out there just let's have a good time and feel this vibe. We're trying to do this mission about this rock and roll culture. We're trying to keep pushing forward and keep up. You know.
Right. So like I have to, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit because as you know, we've talked a lot and we've had some different experiences together, and so like I reflect on some of the things you're saying, and it actually kicks me back into past conversations that I've had with you guys. And you guys were just talking about the importance of video and how that's, you know, such a strong element in gaining, you know, attention towards a song or towards the band themselves. we had an experience, Kevin and I, just recently, and it makes me think, and we were talking about M3 2025, and I remember Ray talking to you specifically about how great it was to see David Lee Roth headline on Saturday night, like how that was just outrageous, and that was his first really kind of reemergence in 5 years of doing a live show. Well, we caught him again about 6 weeks ago, and we put up a live snippet. Well, Kevin and I, in terms of polarizing, like I said, I feel like it's convergence of all of the conversation that we're having. We loved it. Kevin and I loved it as much as we loved seeing him in 2025. But that snippet has gotten now close to 750,000 views.
Wow.
With thousands of comments that are overwhelmingly negative. And so, like, you guys maybe think that way, like, because you guys are putting out good music, good videos, and by the way, very strong live shows. I would say that the David Lee Roth show is still a strong live show. And we've talked before, again, convergence, a lot of conversations. Music is a physical act, right? Like you guys are in, to me, just, you put on a strong physical show. It looks good. It's high energy as well as it's sounding good, right? And so, I don't know. You have any thoughts towards that? Like are you surprised to hear that there was maybe an overwhelming amount of a negative response, really, to the same David Lee Roth show that we saw on M3 in 2025?
I'm not surprised at all because it's all about perspective. Right. We hold David Lee Roth in his high regard because we saw him when he was the king of the world.
Right.
When Van Halen set the bar for any live band, if you're in a live band, Van Halen set the bar.
Right.
Still,
absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So if people go to see David Lee Roth for me, I want to experience David Lee Roth because I think he's funny. I know the quirkiness of it. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to sing amazing. He never sang amazing live anyway.
Right.
He was just this sort of vaudevillian, rock comic thing, and it was entertaining. It's entertainment, and his band is entertaining. He's entertaining.
Sure.
But some people want perfection. They want what's they want from back. But he doesn't like his first record. I get that shit.
Right.
It's like you can't make everybody happy.
Right.
But for people to lose perspective and lose that respect because he's not entertaining you to your fullest.
Right.
Is a bunch of shit.
Right,
That's just me.
Yeah.
I don't care whether I think I felt like me and Rick were standing in front of that stage at M3 when he came out. I felt like a 13-year-old girl losing her fucking mind. I was like, you know what I mean? It's David Lee Roth, we lost our minds.
Right.
And since then, I know some of the shows have been that great.
Right.
But he's still out there, and he's from a time when rock and roll was elite.
Right.
The bar was just so high, and there was nothing like them. So he always gets that respect from me, and that's me. But I get it. For every, it's like music. Somebody might love something. You're gonna find that one person. They're not that fucking great. Fuck that.
And it was very nostalgic. It was a very nostalgic show. He spoke from the heart about some stuff that he probably hasn't really revealed.
Right.
In relation to
his relationship,
Eddie Van Halen, and he's 70 something.
Right.
So he's not going to sound the way he did in the late 70s, early 80s. But he didn't fake it either.
Right.
And that's it was a genuine performance.
Right.
And you can't say the same with other bands these days.
Right. There's an unwritten rule. It seems like it's out there. It's like if something doesn't age well, it's not cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like to age gracefully is a beautiful thing. We all know that now. We're living through it, right? We're all getting older.
Right.
But if you are of age and you don't do what you used to, for some people, it's just a fucking crime.
Right. Right.
Right. And they don't look at it for the beauty of the fact that you're still doing it. He's doing it well at a high caliber. He's got a great fucking band. Of course, it's not going to be perfection every night. It's David Lee Roth. It's not about perfection. It's about being in the building and having a good time. But that's my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it all is. Opinions are like, they're like assholes. Everybody's got one, right? But it's David Lee Roth, man. He was. It's
Yeah.
I was a huge Roth era guy.
Right.
Right. And that's entertainment, man.
He was the best front man ever. I think he was, as much as I love Steven Tyler and Mick Jagger, I would say if someone's asked me who I think was the best ever, I'd say David Lee Roth.
Sure.
And let me add, people who weren't a part of that culture, that maybe came to Van Halen late, the Sammy people or anything after that, and just didn't see it or experience that early stuff. I understand their opinions. What's the big deal? They weren't there
Right.
it's like when you create something. If you're in the room and you're writing something and you've been part of the creative process, hey, it's fucking awesome.
Right.
But the person who's not creating it with you comes in the room, it's all right.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a
Absolutely.
very fine line. I'm sorry, I'm going on.
No, it's all good. And we're going to have to wrap up here shortly because the big ladies' night is getting ready to kick off.
50 Shades of Men are about. It is like the 808 is getting louder. It's starting to hype up.
Yeah. So taking it back to the new record and touring. So after Europe, I know there's a couple dates in Texas. I assume you guys will be announcing some more dates once you get back to the States.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're going to announce New England soon. We're going to announce Jersey and Delaware. And I'm going to try to fill a few more weekends all the way up to Christmas.
Trying to get familiar. You know what I
Sure.
mean? You play, and you play. You know the drill. You play, and you play, and you play. So we just keep swinging for the fences.
The best example is Kicks.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we just went through the clubs for years and years and years and build it and build it and build it, and it worked. You know, and no, they never became that massive band, but they had a minute there with Don't Close Your Eyes, and also they got bigger and bigger every year.
Right.
We just want to, spread this vibe thing that we're doing. People get it, and it is. You got to be in the room with us, man. You got to be in the room to understand it and feel
No
it, and
doubt.
then you're going to tell everybody about it. That's the way it should work. So that's what we're trying to do.
And I love your perspective on this because Kevin and I, we always say, first of all, that all things Stand Up and Shout Rock Show come back to Kicks because we're enormous Kick fans. We've always been enormous Kicks fans. And because it gets to ultimately to what you guys bring also, the live show. Good rock and roll always starts with the live show. And then born out of that is a great album like The Brutal Divine, right? But you're going to see those songs on The Brutal Divine played very well live when you go to see Spread Eagle. So I can say that I appreciate that. And that that is something that you have to see. You have to see the live music, and the live show is always the proof in the pudding.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
All
right. Well, you guys, did we miss anything? Like on that note, did we miss any information that you guys would like to add? Or
As you mentioned, see us, in Brooklyn and Falston the end of this month, beginning of next month. Then come see us in 13 countries in Europe, and then we'll be back grinding in USA. So yeah, come on out, say hi. We're very personable, and check out our videos, Spotify, all that.
absolutely.
Yeah, you don't need to pay $500 to come meet the band. Just come and say hello.
Well, as always, we appreciate your time, and we're looking forward to catching you again here real soon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you know, we'll see you soon.
You guys are class acts, man. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Check out our new album, The Brutal Divine, on Frontiers.
Yes.
Get out there on them poles and make some money.
All right.
There we are. All right. Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Our producers just shifted, so like
you,
that's
Kevin.
yes. No, thank you. Yeah, we're ready, Jim. It went from John to Jim, so John was giving me a look. He wasn't sure if we were going to, or Jim was giving me a look. Look, I just messed that up.